latest release updates on Employee Central um, 1H 2026. So as I have already posted some of the important enhancements on my website, but I have decided to give you some detailed explanation how these features behavior and the benefits that what we are going to get. So we will try to understand from these updates from H1 2026 for Employee Central. So the first thing is, as everyone is aware, currently the preview release is from April 13th, 2026. So this is the time that every, analyst team or a support team, consultants, they need to analyze the list of release updates, whether it is a major or minor. So you have to go and, do the testing in the lower environments, and then you can finalize it and you can move it to the production from which is effective from May 15th and 16th, 2026. So the production release date for H1 2026 is May 15th and to 16. Okay, so here on this blog, I have posted some of the important areas which I felt that we all should learn. And hopefully those who are watching this short video will definitely helps you to understand, and hopefully you'll be able to upgrade these features. And if you feel these features would help you to implement in your customer's instance, so you can plan to implement. But prior to that, you all must test it and then finalize it and plan to move to the production based on the production release date. So in the first release update that I wanted to explain is about auto reassigning primary phone and email records. I'll tell you, here in this particular, update, I have very clearly mentioned what is a business context, what was a previous behavior, what has been changed with this update, and where exactly this is going to be applicable, and the prerequisites, the requirements that we should go and enable to experience these features, and what will be the results after enabling, and the key benefits for this particular update. Such a way I have analyzed this particular update and I have posted it here. So I'll explain to you in a simplified manner. When you have a time, you can go through this blog and understand, because a very simplified manner I have posted it about these updates for H1 2026 for Employee Central. So actually, this update is all about currently. Whenever you are going to, maintain the phone information and then email record as a primary. So currently, the system doesn't allow you to actually insert one more record as a primary, and because as system supports as per the present behavior, you can only have one primary phone record and you can only have one primary email record. So suppose by mistake or maybe intentionally, your HR team or end user team or system analyst team, if they try to import, uh, you know, the primary, phone information or primary email, the system used to show the error that it is not possible when you try to import and do it. What we used to do, you used to go and correct it manually. But with the feature, they have enabled the feature called auto reassigning of primary phone and email records. First of all, we have to enable this feature. Where do we need to enable? So you have to go to the Manage Employee Central Settings, and you'll find an option from this release as auto reassignment of primary phone and email records. As soon as you enable, what will happen? The primary phone record, okay, and the existing primary email record. Suppose if you are performing importing, updating a new another phone information as another primary record, and the new email record as a new primary record. So what will happen now with this behavior? But in the system, there is already primary record existing in the system. There is already a primary email also is existing in the system. But when you try to import new primary phone information, new primary email, so what the system will do automatically, the previous record, the phone record, which was set as a primary becomes a non-primary, and email, what was existing earlier, by default, that becomes as a non-primary email, and the new phone, what you import, or including email, so you will be able to update so the email information. So it is not going to show you any error, but it will only show you a warning message is going to be displayed to inform your administrators about the automatic reassignment with the new phone information as a new primary record, new email record as a new primary record. The previously existing one becomes the system will set up as a non-primary record. So this is one of the feature, the features, what, it was not supporting you. If you import it, the system used to throw the error. It was, it is not possible to import it as the primary record is already existing. But with this feature, what happens? The existing primary record becomes non-primary, and the new record what you update becomes a primary, and the system will display a warning message that the reassignment of your primary phone, email is going to be changed as a new primary record. So where it is going to be applicable, when you are going to import and when you are integrating through other APIs and all, for the areas of the phone record and email record. And so now the manual update, it doesn't need to be done because it is going to be done automatically. So what are the key benefits about this particular feature? It supports a smoother large scale data imports, and it eliminates all the import errors caused by multiple primary records as we were facing earlier. And it reduces the manual interaction for the correction of manual data, and it helps you to improve the data consistency and with a better user experience. So I hope this feature helps everyone to understand, as I have provided all the details in a detailed manner. And here is the previous record, how it was showing you that to ensure that there is only one primary record, the system has changed as a primary. So it is not possible to import because the previous record, it was not supporting you. Sorry, this is the message that we used to see previously. This is the currently the warning message the system displays, but it is not an error. It is just a warning message, which means the existing primary becomes, that will be set as a no. The new record will be set is primary is equal to yes automatically. So here are some of the technical details that where it is going to be updated, the areas. But this is not universal update. This is a admin opt-in update, which means the customer has to decide if he would like to implement this feature. They can configure it, but prior to configure enabling this feature in the production, it is always highly recommended that first you test it in the lower environments and do different kinds of testing like UAT, QA and all, then finalize it and update in the production. Now that's about the first one. Now let us try to understand the next one. So which is automated deletion of a future dated job and comp in information records after employment termination. See what happens, right? I'll tell you. Whenever there is a record which is updated in the job, which is effectively dated, comp data which is effectively dated. Now suppose there are records for future date also are inserted by your HR team. Okay, but all of a sudden the employee got terminated maybe before that actual future records. Now what this, earlier the teams have to do when employee was terminated and all the future records still exist in the system, they have to manually eliminate that process. Okay, now with this update, what is happening? Automatically, the system is going to delete any future dated job information or comp information record exist. What happens, right? After an employee's termination date is entered in the job and records, the system will automatically delete the future, effectively dated records in the system. So what will happen? So here, how it works, I have explained also here. The system uses the termination date and from the job information which corresponds to the effective date of inactive record. So what happens? The employee is terminated and the job and comp information records will be automatically going to be removed. So again, your end user team or HR or anybody, again, they don't need to come here and manually do any kind of activity, not required. So how to enable this feature? Again, so there is a foundation object in the manage organization pay and job structure, which is event reason. So in that event reason, there is a one additional field is added from this particular release. I'm sorry. That is delete future data records after termination. So you will find from this 1H 2026 in an event reason foundation object, you will find a field called delete future dated records after termination. So you have to go and enable that field, yes or no. So once you activate that one, the system will go and handle the cleanup automatically and no manual intervention is required. So what will happen? The system is going to future data records will be removed, whether it is related to the job data, comp data, or anything that is even related to the position management. Also, the system will remove the future data records. But any records that is related to the time off are not affected by this particular update. That means except time off related records, then it will support the job, comp, and the position related data also. It will clean up automatically. So what happens? What are the benefits by doing it? It reduces your administrative effort by eliminating the need to manually clean up for all the invalid future records. So automatically the cleanup happens based on the termination date. And also it helps you to improve the data accuracy. You can prevent incorrect employee data. Or it is, impacting, your payroll teams, reportings and integrations and all. So this is definitely a very helpful functionality. And now, as I told you, in the event reason foundation object, you can see that there is a field additionally added. When you enable this one as yes, and all the future related data records, it will be deleted automatically or removed automatically from the system based on the employee termination date. Now, how was the previous record? First of all, this setting was not available about the eliminating unwanted records from the system. So and this is also definitely one of the best feature we can see from this 1H 2026 in Employee Central data management point of view. So these are all the technical details, that where it is going to applicable the features, and this is only the customer configured. So you can, it's a minor update, so you can go and enable. But prior to that, you can test it again, this feature also in the lower environment, and you can finalize it whether to activate this feature in your production system or not. Now let us try to understand the third one, enabling country region specific settings on alternative address fields. See, you as an administrator, so you can configure alternative address fields, at the country and region level. So we can say localized address information. So here, alternative address fields, for example, like country alt field, city alternative field to. So you have to go and enable HR administrators and employees to enter address data in alternative language, such as employees' native language and etc. Okay. So what was the previous setup here? Previously, alternative field settings defined in a country and region specific, but the system used to always refer to the as a base object, which is a home address element. Okay, so the system always allowed for the alternative field setting as a base object is only referring to the home address. So regardless of the country and region specific requirement. So what is happening? It has reduced the flexibility. It has reduced the flexibility, and for the legal multiple countries with a different legal, or there was a lot of less flexibility we have. But what is that today we have with regarding these fields? For example, you want to enable region specific address fields or alternative fields. But now it is only going to support the latest people profile only. Now what you can do? So you can go to the country specific region of HRAS element, home address HRAS element, expand it, and you go to the home address USA, home address India, home address China, and then what you need to do? So you can go and enable and make your alternative mandatory for a specific country, a region only. So what will happen? So the system is going to consider the fields what is mentioned, which is a country specific to address China. Or earlier it was only support, it was referring the base object or HRAS element address info, right? But now it is not going to be like that. You can see very clearly this setting applies only on the latest people profile. And let me show you the screenshot. It is better to understand. Now when you come to the HRAS element home address, and for example, we go to the home address underscore CHN, which is a 3-letter standard ISO code. Now you can see you are able to add flexibly and the alternative address fields which are specific to that country. And so it is going to provide more flexibility and you can experience it, right? So previously, alternative address fields could only be configured in the base home address element. Any alternative field settings defined in the country and specific level, they were ignored by the system automatically. So it was not possible. You want to add alternative fields, then what you have to do, you have to go to the HRES element, home address, and there you need to go and add. But now you can directly go to the corresponding country, home address China, India, USA, and then you can go and add that, the country specific fields for your address alternative fields, the address fields, so that you can have more flexibility. So it will not ignore any longer. It will accept and you can go and enable it. This is also not automatically enabled. It is a customer configured. But again, the team has to first test it and verify the functionalities, look at how the system is, the behavior, and then once the testing is done during this preview release period in the previous systems or any lower environments you can try, and then once you finalize it, you can move it to the production as well. Now, next, another update that I also wanted to explain is a sequence number field reportable in a story reports. Right. So there is a field called a sequence number field and a compensation recurring, right? So, but now what is happening? The sequence number is available in the story reports. What will happen? It helps you to maintain the data consistency across all your comp records, provides you the clarity when you are going to review or audit the multiple recurring compensation entries and etc. So this enhancement is particularly beneficiary to in the scenarios where employees have multiple recurring compensation components. Okay, so like that, now it's very simple. Earlier it was not supporting this particular field. Now you have this particular field in the story reports, the sequence number under the compensation records. Okay, so in a previous release, the sequence number field was not available in the compensation recurring table. So it is limiting reporting capabilities and making it more difficult to clearly distinguish the between multiple recurring compensation records. So this helps you to maintain a consistency within the data. And here also, this is also automatically enabled, so you don't need to go and enable it manually as a customer opt-in. It is a universal update, but still you can also test it reporting point of view in the lower environment. Next, the last one, updated default settings for MDF objects. See what SAP is doing now to improve security and permissions. What happening now? Previously, we used to have non-secured objects, you know, to maintain the records in the metadata framework. Like you can add, you can update, you can delete. But what happens, right? It has provided the increase the risk over everyone is able to access. There is no control over the objects. Somebody comes and configures something. But now what is happening? All the non-secured object has to be secured. That is one thing. But any new customer, that all the MDF objects are now going to be delivered as a secured by default. But existing customers, they have to, whatever is non-secured has to be updated as a secured. But any customer is going to implement these functionalities automatically. These MDF non-secured objects will be provided as a secured objects. That means there is no change for existing customers, and existing implementations retain their current security settings unless you are going to manually update. So usually you have to go and update it. Okay. If you're updating again, you have to go to the RBP and you have to go and enable the permissions to whomsoever is applicable, who are responsible to have the access. But now all the MDF objects are now secured by default for all the new customers, like employee in the areas like employee data, higher data correction, alternate cost distribution, recurring, one time. So what SAP is recommending you strictly that you need to retain the secure default for all these objects to avoid unintended access to whoever supposed to not to have the access. Now, including the objects that are delivered like document generation related objects also secured by default for all the new customers. Okay, so but again, the existing customers for all these areas, you will find most of them are not secured, but you need to go and update manually and control the access so that the access is not granted by default to everyone. So why this matters actually? This supports SAP broader initiative to ensure MDF objects are secured by default. Customers make informed, deliberate permission decisions. They have to approve it, right? And then you will improve compliance, audit readiness, data protection, reduced risk of excessive administrative access. So you are controlling everything now through a secured objects from the all the metadata objects, generic objects. So these are the updates that I wanted to explain. So I have provided the at the end the key takeaways. So those who are watching this short video, or maybe you can come to the blog on my website, and this will definitely give you a lot of information, and you can definitely upgrade and implement these features. If you are responsible in these areas, you can test it, and then you can go on take your feedback and do different kinds of testings, QA or UAT, and then you need to finalize which their team or business team wanted to enable the functionalities in the production. So you can go and enable these features in the production accordingly from the production release date. So now uh, I request everyone, so go through this blog as well. And that's all about the updates related to the 1H 2026 for Employee Central. So thank you so much for everyone for watching this short video. I believe that it is helpful for everyone. And thank you so much for watching. See you all again with the next video with another topic. Bye everyone. Thank you.